Two things have gotten hotter in the market. Activity has heated up, and so has interest rates. Two things that typically don't go hand in hand. We could speculate a lot about why this is happening. Interest rates have trended up, we know, because of inflation data, because of hot jobs reports, because regardless of how complicated you want to make it, people are still out there spending a lot of money, and it's keeping the cost of goods higher. One thing they're still spending money on, it seems, is real estate. So everyone's feeling a different way about this market. And when I talk to some realtors, I'll hear that everything's dead, terrible, miserable. And I'll talk to other realtors who are dealing with multiple offer situations, who have never been busier and are running around with their heads cut off. And it got me thinking, which is why today's update will be a little different than most. It got me thinking about the mental health of our industry. I get the feeling, my gut instinct is that there are a lot of realtors and loan officers who aren't doing very well mentally right now. There's been a lot of noise, there's been a lot of chatter. It's been very stressful for 2 years. And there's not an end in sight for when things get, quote unquote, easier. We have to prepare for it to be another difficult 18 months. And there's different definitions of difficult, right? High interest rates, sure. Limited inventory, sure. But then you add in the news, the noise around the NAR lawsuit, the changes we're facing as an industry. You add in the fact that a lot of people are quitting the industry and leaving. You add in that a lot of people are very strongly voicing their opinions. And it gets you to become mentally bogged down. And so I think that if we want to survive this market as a real estate professional, there's a couple things we need to do. And the first and foremost is we have to recognize that this is difficult. It's difficult on us within the industry. It's very difficult on buyers and sellers. Their mental health isn't doing great either because of affordability. So if we see this for what it is, and truly that is a challenging time. That's not to say you're weak if you admit that. That's not to say that your business isn't booming. That's not to say that you are not a respectable real estate professional to admit that this market is challenging. Seeing it for what it is and recognizing that validates how a lot of people are feeling out there, and it also allows you to rise to the occasion. That's what we need to do. We need to meet this moment and be equal to it. We don't have to be bigger than it. We don't have to be dramatic. We don't have to be depressed. We don't have to be, doomsday about this. We don't have to make it bigger than it is. We also don't want to underestimate it. We don't want to pretend like everything is sunshine and rainbows when it's not for us within the industry, and it's definitely not for people, for our customers, for our clients. We want to be equal to the moment. So I have a little bit of advice today on how I think we can all be better, take better care of ourselves, and survive this market. First, like I said, we're going to recognize this is survival of the fittest. And if you're preparing for war, you need to take care of yourself mentally. You've got to make sure that you're doing the things that give you joy. And now you're going to think, Shivani, this is supposed to be economic updates. Like, what are you talking about? Let's not be so woo-woo. But I'm serious, guys. We need to make sure that we are right up here. As I talk to realtors and as I talk to lenders out there who are really having a hard time, I get the feeling that mentally they're in a really, really difficult position. Finances are stressful, business is stressful, our egos have taken a hit, and most probably impactful is that we don't know for sure what the next year looks like. We don't know how to best advise our clients because we're not sure ourselves exactly how this all plays out. That's okay, guys. Like, no one is expecting us to have a crystal ball. They're just expecting us to do our best to stay on top of the data, to keep trying to interpret it, and to have an opinion. But in order to do any of that, you've got to be taking care of yourself mentally. For a lot of people, I think that means just doing something every day that gives you joy, but also understanding that you aren't the only one who's having a hard time. You're not alone. This is difficult for everybody in different ways. Second thing I think you need to be doing is focusing really hard on your processes and your systems and your business internally. Sometimes when we have a little bit of a lull, and I know not everybody is, I know a ton of people who are super busy. This week for me has been the busiest week of the entire year. But whenever I have a minute to breathe, I always try to think about how I can improve my systems. Now is the best time to be investing in yourself, to get around the right kind of people in the right rooms, to make sure that you are pouring only good in, only valuable information, only improving your skill set, and spending the time that's needed to make sure your business is dialed from the inside out. And you'll thank yourself. Future you is going to thank you in multiple ways for doing this right now. But also, it helps you feel good that you're taking an action in the right direction every single day because you're fine-tuning your business and you're improving yourself as a real estate professional. And then third, I think we should look for people to help. I don't just mean look for someone whose home you can help them buy or sell. I don't mean look for more leads. I mean, look within the industry for people who need help. Sure, we want to help everyone out there too. Of course. I don't think I need to tell you guys that though. I know you're already looking for prospective buyers and sellers. I know we're already looking for borrowers that we could help. Look for other real estate professionals that you could help. I always say this to my kids every morning at drop-off because sometimes they could be a little negative and sometimes kids today feel like the world revolves around them. So I always say before I kick them out the car in the drop-off line 1 minute after the bell rang, look for somebody to help today. Look for somebody who's having a hard time, who's emotional themselves, who maybe doesn't feel like they belong at the moment. We can do that too, you guys, as grown-ups. And if we know that our industry is going through a hard time, instead of being backstabbing, instead of being catty, instead of flexing our ego all the time, why don't we look for people to help? Why don't we work together more? Why don't we be more collaborative to put the deals together? That doesn't make you a shitty negotiator. That means you're doing everything you can for your client. If we can find ways to help each other, I know it's going to make us feel better. Doing something good like that, taking the focus off yourself and focusing on serving instead, always makes me feel better. But I also think it'll come around. It's a pay it forward thing. When you put this stuff out to the universe gets better, and then the universe rewards you. Now, I know today was pretty woo-woo, and so you're probably like, what am I supposed to say from this today that is going to make me sound smarter at happy hour? Point of this update every week, right? So if people ask you, what is going on in the market right now? And you say, it's really an interesting time and things are not as bad as they seem. 1, you're being the source of calm. You're being positive. But 2, they're going to want to know more because that answer is intriguing. It is an interesting time. And things aren't as bad as they seem because we can still put together deals and it's happening every single weekend. I know for a fact that a lot of the times when I'm talking to people who are saying the market is dead, it's because they're having a hard time. But the market is not dead, you guys. It's quite active. And regardless of the fact that I'm seeing interest rates inch their way back up towards 8%, I'm seeing a lot of buyers get really serious about buying now. They're done waiting. We saw more inventory come on the market last week than we'd seen in a long time. So there's opportunities out there. And if we can get our mental space right, we can find them. One of those opportunities is hitting the market very, very soon. I'm part of a project where we're releasing 18 new townhomes being built by BRG Homes on Lakeside. And these are luxury townhomes. They're beautiful, but the views are even more beautiful. So we have a special broker open. It is invite only. The information is below. You're on this email list, so you got the invite last night. You just need to RSVP to teamshivani@allwestern.com and we'll put you down. It's going to be on Thursday the 9th from 4 to 6 p.m. It is a construction site, guys, so you're going to want to wear your boots, but we have the construction hats for you, and this is going to make for amazing content. We'll be ready to help you film something upstairs with the amazing view right behind you, and you can tell your clients about how you're keeping a pulse on the market and how you always want them to be the first to hear about new inventory hitting the market.